Welcome to another Photoshop Challenge answer video by photoshopeducation.blogspot.com. Well, if you're viewing this video, that means you need some help on how we took this yellow flower and made it into this orangish flower with the letters L-O-V-E on the petals. And kind of, not perfect, looks like that it's grown right into it. And how we did it was pretty simple. We're going to show you how to do the letter L, and the rest is going to be just a repeat of the letter L, just a different letter, of course. Now, Photoshop Challengers were created so you can start using the tools. If you followed along with us from tutorial 1 to, well, now 35, this would come very easy for you. We've covered everything in the previous tutorials. There's nothing new here. We're not throwing anything at you that you haven't seen before. So the first area we want to do is, once it's opened, is duplicate that background layer with Control J, hide the background layer. That way we can see where we started with and where we ended. And it's always good to have a copy of it just in case you do make an error. And once we noticed that we wanted to change this to an orange. So how did we do that? Well, in the last tutorial on hue and saturation, we talked about how to change the colors. We actually used the exact same values in hue and saturation to get this orange. We did left-clicked on image, came down to adjustments, did hue and saturation, made sure that the selections were set to yellow so it would only affect the yellows, did the hue and did a -12 on that, did a +20 on the saturation, and did a -2 on the lightness. Well, that's how we did the orange. How did we do the text here? We'll just do the L here, and it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. The key thing here is you start using some of the tools in Photoshop, and you can start seeing how, wow, you can make some pretty cool things in Photoshop. Not just a standard, well, let's just enhance this photo. Start thinking outside the box. So what we did here is we selected this horizontal type tool and left clicked on that, and the key thing here is it doesn't have to look exactly like the L in the there, but you'll notice that it is kind of thick, so we did pick a thick font. We use Bolster Bold, but it could be anything. We made sure that the font color was black, cranked it up to about 272 in size, and you'll want to play around with your specific font. So left clicked on it, did an L, and we moved this down with the move tool. We looked at it and we said, okay, that looks fake. What can we do to make it look like it's more grown into the petal? So we wanted to rasterize this type, so we right clicked on the L in the layers for the text, and we did a rasterize type. What this allows us to do is to distort this font. Now it's considered, we'll say, pixels instead of a font. We came down to transform, we did a rotate, and we wanted to just get a rough size here and rough angle. And we're not going to get exact perfect. We don't want to waste your time here, but we did do a scale and made it a little bit bigger, and we realized that looks too perfect. So we wanted to do a distort, and a distort allows us to really mess with this font. And that's the beauty of it. Our goal here is to actually not to really just distort it, is to follow along with kind of the angle of the petal. So we played around with it, and that looks pretty good. I think we even went into a perspective to kind of get it lined up a little bit better. And I also think we played with the skew. Once we did that, let's go ahead and skew it. Yeah, we did the skew. And something that looks pretty close. There we go. Bring that in. So we have the space now. Now we realize we need to change this color. How did we change the color from, well, this black to, well, a reddish? Well, following along with the hue and saturations, we talked about that you can actually select a specific area and only adjust that area. So we need to get this L on its own layer, but not in black. We really want to adjust it so it matches similar to the pedal, the actual pedal. So what we did here is we held down the control key, left clicked the box there, and you'll notice that it puts the marching ants around it, meaning that it's been selected. We left clicked on the eye to hide that, and then we went back to layer 1. This tells Photoshop you're going to be, when you do a copy and a paste, you're actually copying this portion of the pedal out. That's what we need. We did a Control C and then a Control V, and then it created this layer 2. What we wanted to do is, because we knew we were going to kind of get confused in here, we went in and changed the layer properties, or you can do a rename on it, and we changed that to L. That way we know that's the letter L and that's the pedal. And then we did the adjustment for that. We came down to Image, Adjustments, and then we did the Hue and Saturation. We played around with this. Not going to be perfect. Maybe something like this, saturation up a little bit or down. Lightness, we can play around with that, and that looks pretty good. We left clicked OK. So that's how we did that. And I think we actually, after we applied it, we realized I think it's a little bit too dark, and we just came down to opacity in the layers and fixed it this way and lightened it up that way, turning down the opacity so the pedal below bleeds through. But you'll notice here is you'll see these edges. It kind of looks like some of it was cut out. Well, there's a few ways to do this. You could use the eraser. We don't recommend the eraser because there's no going back. If you make an error, you're going to have to undo your changes. But one of the tutorials we talked about was layer masks. Layer masks are a beautiful thing because if you make an error, you can always unhide the erased part. So we came down to, we did this and we made sure that it was on that L, because that's the layer mask we want to do. Came down to the layer mask, did a reveal all, and you'll notice that it does this white in there. That tells you you're going to be doing a layer mask. Made sure the paintbrush was selected, made sure black was selected, and the key thing here is the hardness is turned down and the diameter is turned down. We didn't want it to be a large as a pedal, or else we would just wipe out everything. Plus also we didn't want to make it the hardness strong, because we want to actually kind of blur and make some of these edges less straight. And all we did was come in and went around it. Now the beauty of this is you just come around it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually being less perfect is a good thing here. And we realized, okay, we screwed that up, so we did an X to start bringing back some of this. Started painting that. We can do some of this here, and that's how we did the letter. Now repeat that process to the O, the V, and the E, and end result you'll get something like this. Yes, it is not perfect. You can actually spend a lot more time on this, getting it to sit on that pedal a little bit better, playing around with the hue adjustments. That way you can get a good color that kind of goes with the actual pedal itself. Like this purple is too strong. It should have been lightened. This blue is definitely too strong. Saturation is too strong. You want something more like the L and the O here. So that's all that's how we changed this flower. In the beginning here, that was a yellow, and we can do this and bring that back to something like this. Hope you enjoyed this answer video, and feel free to check out the other 35 detailed tutorials on photoshopeducation.blogspot.com. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.